Hey everyone, it's Kyle here again. So in this video we're just going to do some pulses and some legumes, just kind of show you how versatile they can be and how quick they can be. A lot of people sometimes, if they're not familiar with them or if they haven't had too much experience with them, they get a little overwhelmed. So just to kind of show you some different market forms that we have. Obviously, you probably already used these before. These are our canned chickpeas, garbanzo beans. A lot of times we'll see this in the form of hummus, so it'll be pureed up with some garlic and some lemon and some tahini, which is that sesame paste, and you get that nice dip. It goes good with veggies and all that other stuff. So obviously, most of these lentils and split peas and the chickpeas you can get in a canned form. The other form that we see a lot of the time is going to be in the dried form. So these are our green lentils. And lentils are a little bit different from some of the split peas, and it's probably hard to see, but lentils, they kind of have that flying saucer shape to them, so oblong, where split peas, we have some yellow split peas here. These ones are going to be kind of split in half, so they have a flat side and they have that round side. So a lot of times split peas will cook a little bit quicker because they're not quite as dense as the lentils. And again, these are dried. So for example, what we're going to do with our mise en place that we did with our onion and cucumber and our mint and all this other stuff is we're going to make a beautiful lentil salad. So with these lentils here, one of my favorite lentils is a French lentil, a Dupuis lentil. Unfortunately, the grocery store was out of them, so I've gone with the brown version here. The green lentils here. And basically what I did, I soaked them last night in cold water and in the fridge. So what that does, it just helps with the digestion, so getting rid of some of those enzymes and stuff that cause bloating, and also makes them a lot quicker to cook, excuse me. So these are our green ones here, and then essentially what I've done, I soaked them overnight, and then I put them on the stove with some cold water, brought that up to the boil, and at about the 20-minute mark. And then they're still nice and kind of soft and tender, but they're still going to keep their shape. Sometimes when you're using things like split peas and stuff, they go from being hard to overcooking very quickly. So good for making purees and things like that. But today we're going to use these ones here. Keep in mind that I like to think of recipes as guidelines. So if you want to, substitute some beans for this one, you could put some, the chickpeas from the cans, lots of different things. If you want to do grain, you could do some farro or some quinoa. So again, this is just kind of a generalization, but a lot of these things are interchangeable. So basically we have our cooked lentils here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to make a nice little vinaigrette. So in our vinaigrette, typical vinaigrette is going to be a little different from your dressing. If you think like Caesar and ranch, they're very heavy and egg-based and heavy on the oil as well. But with our vinaigrettes, it's basically some kind of oil. Today we're going to use olive oil, and then it's going to have an acid. So it could be a little bit of wine if you're into that. It could be some citrus fruits, which we're going to use lemon today. You could also use vinegar, so champagne vinegar, white wine vinegar, all that sort of stuff. The general ratio of vinaigrette is 3 to 1. So 3 parts oil to 1 part acid. Again, you can cut down that oil if you want to. And again, a lot of these recipes, these are for individual portions. A lot of them, if you want to make more, if you're having a banquet or a team function or meeting, you will just multiply the recipes. So whatever the multiplication factor, if you got 20 people, then multiply it by whatever you need to be. So essentially, we're going to take our lemon. Anytime you need to get juice from a citrus fruit, it's good to kind of roll it. Now this is the one that I already took some of the zest off and things like that, but what we do is we kind of roll it. We're breaking all those membranes up inside, so when we go to squeeze it, the juice is going to come out much more easily for us. Okay. Now you can buy little reamers that will kind of get the insides out and break all those membranes. You can buy little squeezers, kind of like the garlic press I had where you squeeze it. Again, if I'm only doing a few, I'm just going to roll it and break all those membranes, and then I'm just going to squeeze that juice in a bowl, make sure I don't get any seeds. If I do, I'll just kind of remove them out. So that's our lemon for there. That's going to be our citrus acid, and this is olive oil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this lemon in a bowl, and then I also have some Dijon mustard. So Dijon mustard, got that nice little bit of tang, almost a little bit of heat. If you don't like that, you could use a yellow mustard. You could use a Pommery or a grainy mustard. The mustard obviously adds flavor, but it also helps the vinaigrette to bind together. So not totally necessary, but it just gives a nice little overall flavor. A little bit of our garlic we're going to put inside of here. About a clove or so, kind of chopped up, nice and fine. And then I'm going to get my whisk. Just going to break this up a little bit. And then essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my oil. Now, a vinaigrette is not meant to stay together like a mayo-based one. It's going to separate naturally. Eventually the oil is going to rise to the top. So we call this a temporary emulsification. So eventually it's going to kind of break apart. So we'll just put some of our oil in here. Again, this is olive oil. You could use extra virgin. You could use canola oil. You could use some of the coconut oil. So whatever your dietary restrictions are, you can kind of tailor that to that. So we'll put a little bit in there. Pretty simple. I'm going to put a little bit of some black pepper and a little bit of some sea salt in there. Okay. Again, if you don't want to salt or you need a low sodium kind of diet, you can refrain from that and omit that. And that's it. We just have this nice little vinaigrette. Excuse me. What we want to do is have a nice balance between the acid and the oil. So if it's too oily, then you add some more acid. If it's too acidic, then we're going to add some more oil to kind of get that nice balance. Okay. So cooked lentils drained off really nice. I'm simply just going to pour this right over top. And again, this could be some grains, it could be some quinoa, some farro, some millet, anything you want to kind of do for that. And then I started my ingredients. So this is our diced cucumber. We're going to put that in there. It's going to get nice and fresh. We've got our red onion. It's going to have a nice little astringent flavor, not too much. Again, these are all kind of guidelines. I like to say you could put some fresh scallions in there, or green onions if you wanted to. Didn't see in the last video, but this is some sun-dried tomatoes. So sun-dried tomato you can get kind of packed in little bags. This one's actually packed in canola oil. So I'm going to put some of that in there, just give it a nice little flavor. And then of course our mint. That's going to really freshen it up and really make it nice and fresh and kind of pop a little bit. If you didn't like mint, you don't like the flavor of mint, you can put some basil. If you got something in your garden soon coming up, you can put any kind of different herbs and things that you want to kind of make that flavor profile that you want. Okay, so we'll just kind of mix this together. So basically right now this is high in fiber, high in protein, totally vegan. If you wanted to kind of make this a main course meal, we could add some other components. You could get some chopped up tofu. You could put some vegan cheese in here. You could add some nuts if you want some more fats and things like that. So almost as you can think of this as a base, and then you could tailor it as you need to see fit for your clientele and things like that. So this could be a nice little side dish if you had some grilled chicken and things like that. We're kind of focusing on the vegan aspect of it, but if you needed to, you could add some protein in here. And that's it. So we'll have a nice little taste. With this one here, again, should keep in the refrigerator for 3 or 4 days. And it actually will taste better the next day. So we'll have time for those flavors to kind of meld together and kind of mellow out a little bit. So if you wanted to make this, I would say make it the day ahead. And then the next day you can bring it out and then you're kind of good to go. All right. Just again, to show you the kind of versatility of some of these products. This one here, this was our canned chickpeas. There's a brand here, and then what I simply did is I opened the can, I drained them off from that kind of that briny liquid, give them a good rinse, and I patted them dry. And then, kind of hard for you to see, but what I did is I put these in my oven with a little bit of olive oil and a little salt and pepper. So I just kind of crisped them up, and then they have this beautiful, nice little crunch. So you could put these on a green salad, you could put them on a snack if you like spice, like I do. You could put a little chili flake on there, things like that. So again, just another way to kind of use these up. Now, buying them canned, obviously you're going to pay a little bit more from a canned product if you buy them dry. But again, you need to soak them and then you need to cook them. So it depends on kind of how much effort you want to put in. But so we got our roasty toasty chickpeas here, a nice little spice. That's from our can. The other thing I did, so I had those lentils that I cooked. I had some extra ones. So as I was kind of doing my other mise en place and my prep, I took a little onion and some carrot and some celery. I just put that in my pot and I cooked that around a little bit. Added some of the lentils I already had with some vegetable stock. And then I put a little bit of curry powder, just a regular kind of yellow curly powder that you see at the grocery store. And then I also added some coconut milk. So basically I made a lentil soup. Let's grab it, bring it over here. So this is basically my green lentil. And then you got some celery and some carrot, if you can see that very well. Some celery and some carrot. And it looks kind of creamy, but again, that's our coconut milk. So a lot of times when I'm doing things for vegetarians or vegans and dairy-free and all that sort of stuff, if you just take some of that coconut milk and you put it in there, it really gives it that beautiful creaminess flavor without adding that dairy, without adding any of those unwanteds that you want. So, from that one lentil cooking, essentially we have a salad, we've got our soup, beautiful, delicious, and then we also have our chickpeas here. So just some different ways that we can use our legumes and pulses and things like that different market forms. Again, all these recipes here can all be bulked up. So if I had a lot of this soup to do, for example, and maybe instead of hand chopping everything, I would put it in a Robocoup, or if you got a dicer or something like that. So essentially, all these kind of recipes will work out. You just can multiply them as you need be. So happy cooking, and thanks for watching.